Hi, I'd like to introduce Brown Boy Chronicles, podcast for brown boys. I'm telling our story, just how we relate to the world, our struggle, our come up, and our life.
Our struggle. Welcome to another episode of Brown Boy. Sorry, you must say. Yo, I was Brown Boy. Yeah, Brown Boy. Yo, Brown Boy. The
so trash.
Brown Boy, the alliteration. I always say Brown Boy, bro. Welcome to another episode of Brown Boy Chronicles. This is KB, Lucky, Harvey, and Deech. For our 10th episode, we wanted to do something special, and we came up with the idea to introduce y'all to brown creators and artists that we fuck with heavy. And it's just another way for us to get to know different people who we may not have had the opportunity to connect with otherwise. So for our first guest ever on this podcast, we have a musical artist named Onik. A short story of how we randomly found him and decided to bring him on the podcast. Basically, I was at the gym and Lucky sent me his first ever beat that he made on FL Studio through SoundCloud. And after hearing it, I just let my SoundCloud play on shuffle, and randomly I hear the song called Overdose, which is by Onik. I fucked with the song heavy, and I ended up randomly being on his Instagram and saw he was Bengali. And this kind of paved the way and gave us the idea for something unique we wanted to do for our podcast, which was to bring on different brown creatives and expose our audience to different voices and perspectives. So Onik, I just want to welcome you to the Brown Boy Chronicles, and thank you for being our first ever guest on the podcast.
It's a pleasure. This is exciting. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a little late start to my day, but nothing too bad.
We kind of just want to get into your background and stuff. Mm-hmm. The first question we all had was, how do you say your name, your rapper name, your actual name?
Yeah, so essentially my first name is actually Raif Hossain, but my family and my friends all call me Onik. So it's Ohneek is how I feel like I would kind of, spell the enunciation, Onik. So yeah, and I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of I feel like a lot of Southeast Asian people, we have two names, we have our quote unquote legal name that's written down, and then we kind of get a pet name or a nickname, so to speak. So that's essentially what Onik and where it comes from. I'm pretty sure my grandmother named me Onik, and I think it means soldier if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. It's been a minute.
So you use that as your rapper name as well?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like actually it's kind of deeper than that. And I feel like this has a lot to do with your show that you guys kind of do here. If you're a first generation immigrant, we kind of live two lives in a specific way. You know what I'm saying? You got your friends and stuff, and then you got your own life back at home. You know what I'm saying? It's completely different. So essentially it was kind of trying to almost symbolically be yo, I just want to be one person. I just want to be Onik. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. So I thought it meant a lot more for everyone to call me my nickname, I suppose, than my legal name, because I feel like it's like I said, it's deeper than that in that way.
I read somewhere on an article that you had another name before you.
I did. So I went through a few rapper names, obviously, branding wasn't originally my first thing. I was just trying to make the music at first. So I went through a few phases. My first rapper name was Lazy Bones. I don't know if you guys know Bone Thugs and Harmony. There's a rapper, Lazy Bone. But it was Bones with an X. I don't know why. I really can't tell you. A lot of people call me lazy. My mom would call me lazy, and I kind of had this lazier rapping style back in the day. And then I became okay, and that was the precursor to Onik, because I was yo, I kind of want to be something else, and a lot of my friends, the OGs, they still call me lazy, because that's just everybody knew me as lazy back in the day.
Oh, true.
But in general, yeah, okay was the next name, and then it eventually became Onik, because I was I gotta stop lying to myself, man. I'm just me. It's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
yo, I just wanted to ask him, I think when we were reading that article, I think he said there was some story with him eating chicken and then he was spitting it out or some shit.
Oh, good looks. That's crazy. I forgot I even said that. I remember, when I just like a random memory I have when I was like somewhere between like 3 and 5, maybe. Like it was super early. It was just like this memory I have of like, might have been my brother's like an electronic microphone stand, like for kids, you know what I mean? Like when you talk into it, it kind of like echoes a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember like if my mom was maybe feeding me food or I was eating food or something, I just got really close to the mic and like whatever the fuck was in my mouth got inside of the microphone and fucked it all up. It was horrible. I don't know if I can curse on this. Can I curse?
No, yeah, you can curse.
Yeah, so shit was really fucked up. I was so devastated. I was like, damn, like that's how this thing broke. Like I just fucked this shit up. Yeah, dude, I was like, I don't know. Like I would have thrown up if I saw that shit in real life now.
So you're from New York, right? That's where you're
I am born and raised. I spent every single day of my life here. Oh, I mean, I've traveled obviously, but I've only lived here. Minus like there was this weird time period. I was like 16 years old. My parents like wanted to move to Florida, so we did. It was for like 6 to 9 months only because my parents are both not alcoholics. Holy shit, that was workaholics. My bad. So my dad was like, let's quit your job. Like, I'm just going to go do this. And like within 5 or 6 months, my mom was just like, I can't sit here and do nothing. There's no way. So we fucking dipped. My dad kept his job in Florida though. He still works there now actually. So works 2 jobs.
What's your parents' background?
Both of them from Bangladesh and stuff. My mom, she didn't have too much education actually past college. I know she got a college degree, but it was something very specific. Like back in Bangladesh, like they grew up in a very smaller village. And I think she got like a home ec degree, which is like interesting. It literally is kind of like, you know, like you learn like sewing, cooking, like actually like, but it's crazy because when she came here, she got into the vitamin industry. So she does like science related things and she's just worked like 30, 40 years and just kind of picked up on random things.
We talk about our parents all the time on this podcast. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah,
it's crazy, like the stuff they did, and like
absolutely,
and, like I could not do any of that.
For real. And I mean, like my dad's a doctor, but he didn't become a doctor up until he was like 45, maybe even 46. So it's like a recent thing where he finally was able to practice. Like he's been in America since he was 30, maybe for like 15 years or something. He couldn't be a doctor because like it just was never working out. He couldn't like pass the test and shit. It's crazy, but he never gave up. So,
wait, so he works in New York and Florida?
Yeah, he works 2 fucking jobs, man. He's a psycho.
Wait, how does he do that? He just like
literally, it's so like I guess a lot of doctors and medical profession, they do like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So instead of kind of doing like that, it's like my dad works 1 week on, 1 week off. So every other week he straight up flies from Florida to New York to work a job here, to work a job there. Like it's crazy. I don't know why he does it. I still tell him, I'm like,
what kind of position is he?
My brother's 30 years old. I'm fucking 24. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no point in him working so hard right now for no reason. I think like, you know, he's just kind of like a normal doctor. Like that's kind of, you know, walking around.
General practitioner?
He's a hospitalist. I don't know how I'm saying just.
Hospitalist like is like, yeah, they manage like all the like inpatient.
Oh, right. You do surgery, right? Or you're
we work with like the hospitals all the time. Yeah, they like they
yeah. You know, they got to know a lot of shit. But my dad was trying to be a neurosurgeon originally, and then, you know, like I said, it just never really worked out.
I mean, yeah, that's how our parents are. Like the only thing they know how to do is grind. Like they don't know how to.
Yeah, straight up though. I mean, that's why I feel like that's the only reason why I work so hard. It's a gift and a curse because it's like I don't get fucking satisfaction or rest, and I'm just like, oh my god, like my parents are fucking old. Like I got to do some shit right now. Like,
yeah, they did like more shit in like 4 years, like from 20 to 24 than I did my whole life. Like
yeah, like straight up. My parents are. I think my so my mom was like 21. I think my dad was like 28, 29. They were already married and shit and like coming to America and like doing their thing. Like, you know, like I fucking don't even know what I'm gonna do for dinner tonight. That's the kind of shit I think about.
Alright, so like how's New York, man? You moved from like Queens to Long Island?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Queens. I spent a lot of time in Long Island.
What part of Long Island? I've been to Long Island a lot, like a Patchogue area, Medford, like way.
I mean, I literally live right around that area. I grew up all in the Stony Brook area. I mean, my parents currently reside a little bit more east.
Where do you live currently? Like, are you with the rents or you have your own?
No, I live in the Lower East Side currently because I mean, I'm also attending school, but obviously doing other shit, trying to make my own ends meet.
I was trying to move there, man. The rent was just crazy now. So
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like,
spot.
I got really lucky because I was looking early enough because, COVID and everything, rent was pretty low. I got about like $400 off the rent normally. So I personally would not have been able to afford this place on normal circumstances, to be quite honest with you. So I was like, fuck it. Like, if it's a year of just living as comfortable as I can, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking that odds right now.
The Lower East is like such a young area too. So it's
absolutely.
Like, there's so much going on.
You know, the craziest thing is though, and it's so strange, and I don't know how I've met the people that I have met. I used to be a lot more like outside, like, linking up, like let's do this, let's do that. But like as soon as I started to get more into my craft and like more serious, really, like I said, like I'm 24 years old. I know I might be young to a lot of people or like whatever be the case, but to me, I feel like that's already past a certain age that like, damn, like, nah, I just like got to get this right now. You know what I'm saying? I only have maybe a few more years of like really hard work and dedication left in me. If anything, if I'm going to go hard, I'm going to do it all fucking now, man.
Yeah. So when you were younger and stuff, like growing up in your family, like, your parents want you to be like certain professions and like. Oh,
absolutely. I had the pressure too. I mean, I literally, up until probably I was graduating high school, I thought I was going to do something my parents told me, to be honest. Just because it's not like I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just kind of was always thinking about financial reasons. And my parents have taught me that, you know what I mean? Like my dad wanted to do some other shit and he was like, no, like I'm just going to really become a doctor because I know that it's going to help my family out later in life. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of his mentality. And I was thinking like, damn, like, is that the way I should think too? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, should I just like give it all up and just try to like, do some shit and like be happy with the family and like give and shit like that? I mean, it's not like I don't want a family right now, but yeah. I just thought that it's easier to be happy. I've always had the musical kind of background or whatever. I played a lot of instruments growing up. My parents supported me when I did all that shit too, because I was like, I want to learn how to play piano. And they're like, sure, let's fucking do it. You know what I mean? And all that shit. Yeah, because I mean, it's not like, I was... If I look at something, I'll understand it. So like school was something that I was just kind of like low key. I fucking cheated my way through everything. I just knew that that's what you need for a good grade. I'm gonna be sure. Like I was a good test taker, et cetera, and I just was kind of like working smart in those ways of being like, yo, like yeah, I could study, but like I just found every answer to my AP biology class. So why would I do that? You know what I'm saying? Some shit like that. I'm not saying you should cheat, but school is just not for everyone. And school's like, I don't know when I'll need to know when Christopher Columbus fucking sailed the ocean or whatever the fuck.
I mean, you knew so much.
First of all, fuck him. Second of all, what the fuck?
I mean, you can do so much shit like without like going to college now. Like everything's online.
Yeah, honestly, no, I completely believe in all that shit. You don't really need anything, or like if you're really talented, if you have a skill at something, if you love doing something, just stay at it. Eventually, you'll like money will come. There's so many ways to make money nowadays, bro.
True.
You really can make money through anything.
So you're in college right now, right?
I mean, I dropped it. I graduated when I was 18, high school. I was done and kind of started school up. And like, I immediately fucking knew. I was like, no, this is not it. This is really not it for me, at least.
What school did you go to?
I went to Hunter College, actually. So I was still in the city and shit. I love this city. I mean, it's just the concept of just like everyone kind of does their own thing. No one really fucking cares about anybody. And I like that atmosphere. It keeps my head straight, Like, I don't get too like... It keeps me humble, you know what I'm saying? I don't never get too cocky. There's always someone else that's doing something way better than whatever you're doing, you know what I mean? It's kind of like you got to really step up to the plate, especially in New York, because there's so many people trying to quote unquote make it, you know what I mean? Like in any way. So
how was your experience coming up in like high school, and like did you have a pretty diverse school? Like
oh fuck no, dude. Hell fucking no. We had like 96% all white, like really 3% other, you know what I'm saying? Meaning like Asians and Southeast Asian, maybe like 1% was black pretty much. Like we had 3 kids of color, maybe the entire school.
How'd you like prevent yourself from like becoming like whitewashed?
Honestly, I mean, it's fucking hard, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there were times where I didn't really understand a lot of things. Like, if you can't beat them, you join them sort of a thing. So sometimes I would just make fun of myself just so no one else could do it. You know what I'm saying? On some shit like, like whatever be the case. I'm sure we've all done some shit like, I don't know if you guys have, but like, where it's kind of like, instead of being made fun of, defense mechanism would just be like, nah, bro, like I will blow your house up or some shit. Like, it's tough for me to say, like I hate that shit that I'm like that, saying so like freely, but it's like, back in the day, bro, like really back in the day, like I used to say that shit, like everybody used to fucking say that shit. And I'm talking like, like growing up in like the 9/11 era too, like I wasn't too young, but still.
Jumping off that real quick. So during 9/11, obviously like discrimination was like kind of a little rampant. did that like actually like affect you and like what you wanted to pursue like music career wise? Like because like people around you might be like putting you in a box. Did your like resolve for like music never like teeter, like with everything going on around you, or like how was that like for you, like moving your like craft forward and stuff like that?
That's actually a really good question, and I've never really openly spoken about this, I guess, or like, you know, no one's really ever delved that deep. But I mean, I feel like I never really took music seriously up until like I started probably when I was like 15, 16, you know, making beats, blah, 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 blah. I didn't really start taking it seriously until I was like 21, maybe. You know what I mean? And before then, it was just kind of more of a hobby / like I would do to roast my friends. And I was like good at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I was pretty bad. It was becoming something my friends would even be like, yo, this is actually not bad at all. And I'd be like, thanks, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously I made it for jokes and stuff. Back to what you were talking about, though, I feel like Southeast Asian people in general do have a weird connotation to them. I feel like it's harder for us to do shit. I don't want to be like it's harder as in no one really like gets it. I feel like normally we're kind of jokes. I know that's like weird for me to say, but it's like, you know, 7-Eleven this, like curry that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's kind of that's always been, dude, I remember so many times, like, people used to just call me, like, Hindu and shit. Like, you know, they never really cared, or, like, you know, they would say, like, really crazy shit. Like, obviously, that's not offensive. It's just a different thing. But it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm Bengali, but I do believe we are starting to live in a different time. And I feel like the internet era and, like, you know, as I started to grow up, I started to see that a lot more. And it kind of gave me hope when I started seeing, like, different types of people start making it. Like, obviously, Nav making it was pretty sick. You know what I mean? That was a dope sign. It's not that I am or not a fan of him. I just think seeing someone like that, like, up there is pretty fucking sick. And a lot of people fuck with his music. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people do. Shit like that obviously is inspiring, but I can't say that it didn't affect me, because it's kind of like I've been to like showcases, shows, this, that, you know what I'm saying? The atmosphere, they're looking for something different, and I make different music. So it's like, I don't know, and it'll always be like, yo, like, people will look at me like, what really is this shit? And I'm like, I don't know. It just kind of is music. You know, I'm just an artist.
Brown stereotypes are just so fucking weird. It's either you're a fucking doctor, lawyer, engineer, or you're fucking a taxi driver. 7. I'm like, two ends of the spectrum, bro. There's
no fucking It's like, yo, you're either the dumbest of the dumb, or like you're the smartest of the smartest
like,
people.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's so strange, and I feel like there is a kind of weird disconnect there. And I feel like, again, it just has to do with, like, if I can actually make it, I'm a fucking nobody, bro. I just worked really hard at the end of the day to get to where I am. That just proves even further that, like, you know, if someone can look at my face and be like, no, like, I see this. Like, there are a lot, I don't know if you guys know, like, oh God, I don't know if I should get into this. There are a lot of other brown artists around the city. Some are pretty popular. Like, do you guys know, like, Unik? You guys ever hear of Unik?
I think I have.
That was it. Yeah, he's like a B-list, C-list celebrity. You know, he represents us in a certain light because he's the closest thing to like a more famous celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, he's been on, like, I think Side Talk Show, or like Bodega Talks. I know he has Bodega Talks. He's been on a few.
Yeah, Katie, you know him. I'm pretty sure you showed me him.
Maybe I did.
It's possible, you know. I mean, he's a brown artist too, but
he had that like one banger where he's like whipping around in the car and stuff.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, exactly. See, so like in those instances too, it's kind of like, I'm not trying to like what's that?
You about to start beats up in here.
I'm not start beef. I'm like, I could, but I'm saying, like, I'm not trying to like sell my culture. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what this word is here that I'm looking for. I feel like it starts with a C, but I can't think of it. I'm not trying to, like, you know, sell my culture in any which way. Like, my goal, if
capitalize.
Definitely, or just kind of like, damn, I really can't think of this word. I'm gonna pull up a dictionary.
So let me see. Are you saying, like, you don't want to be like just a brown rapper? You just want to be a rapper?
I just want to be global, an artist. Yeah, like, you know, someone that's kind of like, I'm not gonna say Habibi to get a following. That's fucked up. I don't know. I'm crossing some lines here. I mean, I don't mean disrespect, because to each their own. Again, you know what I'm saying? That's not my personal niche, I guess.
You know Jeff Staple?
Of course.
So I was in a Zoom call with him for like some design conference or something. And he always said, like, when he was coming up, I'm not a Chinese designer. Like, I want to be like a designer that can like design for everybody. I don't want to just have like red and like, you know, gold.
Exactly. You know, like I'm not about to put fucking like, you know, like my flag on everything or whatever be the case. Like that's not the point. Like it is to put everyone on, but it's more like, listen, like we are more than just our skin and anything in general. Like, you know, I just want to have my fucking art out there. At the end of the day, I just want to be, you know, like known for something amazing or something different or whatever be the case.
You want to be known for your art, not your ethnicity.
Exactly. But it does help. And I like that I represent low-key an underdog kind of a situation here.
So you said you like kind of started school in 18 and then 21, you kind of started taking it seriously. In that little middle period, was there pushback from your parents, like from everyone, or you like what kind of made you shift over to like, all right, maybe let's not be in this box that I'm like kind of already put in by my parents, society, whatever. Let me just, you know, kind of break out of the box a little bit. Is that what like the 3-year transition period was for you?
Yeah, like I would say, you know, I definitely went through a lot then. Particularly, I didn't face any backlash or anything because, to be honest, like when I left. I was kind of like, no, like I gotta do this. So like, you know, I was like trying to like do anything I can to make my ends meet on any which way possible. And I like pretty much lied to my parents for like 3 years. I was like, yeah, I'm going to school, guys. Fuck yeah, I'm doing it. I'm telling you guys right now. And honestly, it wasn't on some shit that I kind of was like being disrespectful or like, no, like, you know, like this, that. I was just more like, I really fucking believe in myself. You know what I mean? Like, and I was really like, no, like I can see myself really fitting in these different lanes or figuring it out. And that was like 2016-ish, right? I want to say like that was when Uzi and shit, you know, they were dropping. SoundCloud rapping was becoming a real thing. Like people were literally like, that was a phrase, you know what I mean? SoundCloud rapper came out in like 2016. Yeah. So it was a very, very, very new and hot era. And I feel that's how I got Overdose to get a lot of views and shit too. You know what I mean? Because like SoundCloud was really moving back then. And Nestle actually reposted my shit.
It was like your tipping point, like 21. Like, yeah, you hit age 21, but like, what was that? You had like one specific moment where like, fuck it, like I'm going all in. Like this is like music.
Yeah, like I feel like when I was 17, 18, I started to really realize like I want to do music or I want to be a part of that art world, art community. You know, I want to just kind of like figure this shit out. It all started with photography actually too. You know, I was really into photography and I was like, I want to do something, get maybe gallery shit, something. I don't fucking know. I just smoking a lot of weed and I was like, I want to do this shit. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it was like. I don't know if I should have said that on this thing too, but
no, you're good, man.
No, you're good.
It is what it is. Don't do drugs. So
you said Nestle reposted, like Nestle, the guy that like made Center
24K. He made like Wildflower, that great album. That's a recent project he made. He does music with like Ski Mask, and I mean he's like an OG. Yeah. Like Nestle's like really an OG. He's been doing this shit for longer than a lot of these people. Helped a lot of people get on. I mean his repost put me on to a new level on SoundCloud. That's kind of what really helped. He reposted it, and then it really started to pick up on some numbers and shit.
What song was it? I'm assuming like this is your first like
it was Overdose. That's when like, and I mean I was dropping music that was maybe getting in the few thousands, and this one hit like 7 or 8. You know what I mean? Like pretty quickly, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yo, I gotta start taking this shit more seriously because I clearly can really do this. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was pretty fire. So I started to book. I got like a studio session. And that's how the new version of Overdose actually. That's like the new version, as in there was a version before originally that popped off. A lot of people were like, yo, like we want the old version back, and I was like, bro, there's literally like static throughout the entire thing. I didn't know too much about mixing and mastering as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I was really just a beginner in so many different ways when I made that track. So I had to get the help from the studio.
How'd you feel like in that moment, like when you started getting all those like views and stuff like this?
It was cool, like, man. It was fucking cool. You're like, shitting me, bro. Come on. I mean, I wasn't like, yo, I'm the next Lil Yachty. This shit better blow the fuck up. But it was fucking cool, bro. I don't know what else to say other than that. Like it felt very, very satisfying to know that like my hard work was being, you know, I mean, I was literally not doing anything but some crazy shit, which not gonna speak about. And then other than that, like I was making music probably like 12 to 15 hours, like on some crazy shit. Like I couldn't afford curtains, so I nailed like blankets to like block out my windows and shit to have a black room with my like LED lights always there. You know, I was fucking, it was cold as hell. I had the like little corner where I like hung a lot of clothes to make my own sound panels, more or less.
We have the same feeling when we get like, if you're from like Australia or something, we get like hype.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Like, damn,
that's fucking crazy.
Like, there's a person from like the UK or Australia fucking. Bro, this dope.
Actually, there's an article that was written. Overdose was played in London on a radio, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, like that was there's an article. It's like YMX article in my bio. If you eventually you guys can read it at some point. That was like originally when I think I dropped Overdose. No, you know what? It was I already released Overdose, and this was like Overdose 2.0, and it was going to be on streaming platforms and all that shit. And it's like interesting. I think they're called YMX. I actually totally forgot what the radio station is, and that's fucked up of me to have forgotten. But yeah, they like posted it on the shit, and they even were like, if you're ever in London, like come for an interview. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, shut the fuck up, you guys. I was like, you guys are out of your fucking mind. Get the fuck out of here. Exactly.
Going back to like your music a little bit, how would you kind of describe your music? Can you even put it into a category, or like?
You know, I've been trying really hard because like the way a lot of distributing works in general is like you need to put yourself in a genre actually, or else like it's like, you know, there's no way to just like kind of put yourself in a no genre category. I'm not hip hop. I feel like that's almost disrespecting hip hop, to be honest, because of course like I would say like I am definitely very into lyricism in general. So it's not disrespect as in like I think about what I'm trying to say when I'm going to say it. You know what I mean? I really do think a lot about my words and my choice of words, but I feel like I guess it's more pop, or there's a new genre. It's like anti-pop now. I would say it's the closest, but to be honest, I never knew how to categorize my music. A lot of people have said it's like dreamlike, or it's like, you know, like there's a video game almost quality to it, or it's great like, you know, high music when you're high or whatever, like at nighttime. Nighttime is a definite vibe I feel, because I'm someone who I like to go out a lot for night drives, and I love driving at night, windows down, you know, blasting music wherever, whatever, it doesn't matter. So I feel like that's definitely something I try to think about.
Yeah, when I was like listening to Sun Showers, like I like do late night cruises too. Like it kind of gave me a little bit of cloud rap, a little bit like ASAP Rocky, like coming up.
Cloud rap, ooh, I like that. That's what I would be. That would definitely be it.
Yeah, no, that's like the vibe that you gave me, and like I think the one song I really liked was Rafa's Switchboard or something, because it's like
good choice. That's my favorite song.
I like the beat on that. John is just like crazy. And the reason I asked this question is because I think you labeled Sun Showers pop on, like it comes up as pop on Apple Music. I think that's the closest thing that I kind of that album in particular is actually like more different from more of the music I make. I try to think about like, do I make music based off of like things I like, or like do I try to like cater to everybody else, you know, something some people more familiar with? Do I make things like mean more? And Sun Shower is actually like a very artistic album. There's like a whole backstory. I did write a little like if you go to my Instagram, there's a post. It's like this rainbowish color that kind of describes a little bit of it, but it's based off of a movie. Actually, it's inspired off of a movie, and chronologically, it is literally the movie from my perspective translated into an album.
What movie?
Do you ever see the movie Her?
Oh,
yeah. Spike Jonze.
Yeah.
Instead of AI, it's Bay-I.
For real.
So, like, let's going back to your creation of your craft. How does the process like for you? Like, because you're like our first musical guest, and like, do you listen to beats first and then like lyrics come to you, or you know, is it not as like binary as like you listen to lyrics first and then the beats afterward, or like how is the process for you?
Or do you like play your own instruments too, like on top of?
I mean, I do play. I make my own beats. I play my own instruments, so it's always like a, you know, like a together thing where it's kind of like I'm building the beat a little bit, and I'm starting to think about some melodies, you know, some words, different subjects, shit like that.
So do you put a melody together first and then come up with?
I'm not too good with the drums. That's why I get a lot of help from a lot of my producer friends, and I collaborate very often. It's not that like I'm bad at it. I just feel like I can't get the sound people want. I just think very differently when it comes to drums, and it's like almost like experimental. So I try to just be like, all right, now like I know my homie can make some really cool drum lines and different things, so I'm just gonna send it to him.
When you're in the booth and stuff, are you already have everything like pre-wrote, or like?
Yeah, like I definitely write. I go through freestyle. Some tracks I can make in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, quick. Like I'm like through it because I already know, like it just hits me. Like it's like I'm being the answers. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel right in the element. I just kind of know already what the fuck is happening. Other times I sit and I'm listening to the beat, like, no, I got to do this justice. So I think line by line, step by step. You know what I mean? It just really depends on kind of like how I'm feeling. But like, I'm someone who writes. I've always been a writer. I love writing, like in general, poetry, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always loved letters, fucking words, whatever, communication, you know what I'm saying? Emotions, all that shit. So I feel like it all kind of added up when I was like, some tracks I can really think about what I want to say. And other tracks I'm like, nah, I'm just going to like say some ignorant ass shit. Like,
that's real, man.
Can you freestyle or no? Like, just overall?
I mean, I can, of course. Like, I feel like there's a fucking zone I can get into. Like, I just close my eyes and I can kind of visual words or just sentences or story I'm trying to tell. Or I can walk somewhere or like do something, you know what I mean? But it's something that I try to consciously practice. Plus I do it to like keep my skills sharp. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like something that's like, you know, going to the gym and working out. It's like, I'm just like, maybe I'll spend an hour a day listening to some beats and just freestyling to myself. It's not for show. I'm not like, yo, can you freestyle for me? I'm like, bro, like, first of all, pay me maybe and I'll do it. Like, you know what I mean? But other than that, I'm not just gonna like, I'm like a fucking circus animal. Like, you're not gonna just tell me to freestyle. Like, I'm not into that. It's a very, very like, you know, my words, I try to think. So it takes time. It takes a little bit of energy to like actually rap because it's not like I'm just gonna talk about a cat in a hat. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, like music's a pretty collaborative process. So like for you, like if you're like in a studio session or like even just like the inception of a song or an idea, do you do that by yourself, or like is this like in a studio where like you have your homies or producers around and they might like give you ideas bounce off of, or like how does that like the studio session like lifestyle like? How is
you got groupies in there, like you got girls.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I'm all about that. You know, hit me up, ladies. No. Honestly, it's just like random shit. It's just like, yo, you want to go to the studio today? Yeah, let's go, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Super, super last minute, super chill. We just go to make fun ass music. Just really
honestly, I feel like that's where like the best craft comes from, when you don't overthink it. Like if you're like,
I mean, I do overthink it. Trust me, that shit fucking kills me on the inside when I start doing that.
I mean, we all do. So like, how do you like kind of combat that? Do you like get a little faded a little bit, or like how like? Or is it...
Yeah, obviously, definitely that. Other than that, I don't really drink too much and smoke at the same time. To be honest, I try to not drink as much anymore. I don't really drink, period. I mean, I do every now and then, but obviously, like, I just very fucking rare. I just smoke a lot of weed. I used to smoke cigarettes for like 6 years. I just quit in about a year off.
Congrats, man. Congrats on quitting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was that like difficult? Because I know like Mac Miller, he like when I used to like kind of listen.
I mean, I just smoke probably twice the amount of weed now. You know?
Oh, okay, got you.
I can't say that, but at least I don't smoke like cancer shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, hey man, it is what it is. You pick and choose. Van Gogh. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys know about Van Gogh, but he used to drink yellow paint.
Wait,
he used to think it was going to make him happy. You know what I'm saying? So I like to think everyone has their own yellow paint, quote unquote, like a vice, you know?
I love there's like this one quote by Jeezy's like vices got you in a vice grip. And that's why like circling back to like Mac Miller is like, he was saying like, I need cigarettes because like they help with my creative process. So like in a sense, like he's in a vice grip with these vices, like smoking or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta be real. Like, I mean, it's definitely something. I feel like there's a lot of like darkness that goes with art too. Some crazy shit. You think a lot about some crazy shit. I mean, you make sad tracks. You go through things. Maybe.
I mean, you just hit like wide range of emotions, and obviously, like when you hit a range of emotions, you're not always going to see the light. There's like dark puddles, and you know, so like it's only to be expected. But going more into like your craft.
Sheesh. Yeah. That's for real though. Honestly.
Yeah. So do you have any like particular like influences in music, like or do you just kind of like just listen to music as it is and then you don't try other people's like style affect your style, or do you like take pieces of other people's like?
Honestly, I don't know. Unpopular opinion, I don't really try to listen to a lot of people's music. Like, I still haven't listened to Donda and Certified Lover Boy. And to be honest, this sounds really disrespectful because I like J. Cole. I haven't even listened to that project.
This interview's over.
Yeah, right? I'll see you guys later. No, but for real. And that's not out of disrespect or anything. It's more like, you know, I've just been thinking about my own life. And it's not like, you know, like I feel like I can't enjoy the music, like really, really sit and enjoy it because I want to, but that's just...
Do you like nitpick like other people's music then? Like, do you just like break it apart?
No, I enjoy everybody's music. I'm not, everyone's art, you know, like to each their own. Like I say, it's like artistry is artistry. Who am I to say anything about it the way anybody fucking does anything, man?
Do you have like a favorite artist?
I don't really have too many favorite artists that like, I do have a favorite artist, but he's like a fucking nobody. And he makes kind of like very ambient sort of garage music. It's very different. And I like the words he chooses and shit. His name's Coda, Koda, not Coda the friend. He's a rapper.
Yeah.
I think that's TA. This is Coda, Koda. He makes kind of like, sort of like Radiohead, like really trippy fucking music. You know what I mean? Like super trippy. And I'm just inspired by the way it's very freeform, very ambient. It takes a lot of space. There's a lot of emotion put into it. I think it's really, really beautiful. Other than that, like I would say I just find inspirations from people who like are themselves and they say their own things, you know what I'm saying? No recycle words, like their own phrases, their own slang, their own lingo. Like I fuck with all of that. You know what I mean? They're speaking a whole nother language, like practically. And you're like, wow, that's really, you know what I mean? They might say the same shit, but at least it's said differently. And that's what I respect. You know what I mean? Like not trying to be like, just put on the same wave as everybody raps and they say the same shit.
Do you ever feel like censoring yourself with like your music, or do you fear like public reception of your craft?
I mean, I guess I do. I do think about what I say before I say it. And I don't mean like on some like for political reasons. I just mean like I, as a person, want to be very careful about the words I choose. Words have a lot of power in them. And that's something that people don't get. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying out there, like anyone can hear, but it also has a specific energy that it's giving off. So you're like listening to something and you're understanding it. So if you understand it, it might affect you in a different way. Like, you know, like I feel like it's fucked up that like, you know, Playboi Carti will say something. I could say this out loud. I don't mind saying it. Like he'll say something like he's like hitting a girl or something. You know what I mean? Like what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? And people are cool with this. They're endorsing it. That's so dumb. That's lazy. That's fucking stupid. Honestly, I can say that with pride because that shit's stupid. I don't fuck with none of that shit. You know what I mean? I think this album, he tried to stay away from that with a lot of writing shit, but.
So outside of like other, you know, musical influences, what other influences do you have outside of the music world? Like, you know, your surroundings, you know, your family,
art,
like,
architecture, family. Oh, absolutely. I read a lot. Like I fucking love design, architecture. Like I said, like that would be something maybe I'd get into later on in my life if that's possible.
How do you like transition looking at buildings and stuff into like music?
Yeah, it's actually oddly like pretty easy. It's like I find buildings to be very beautiful and like graceful. You know what I mean? Like they kind of like, wow. Like, you know what I mean? If you catch a nice building on a nice angle, bro, you're like, what the fuck is that? Like people made that shit? That's crazy.
Is that what like synesthesia is? Like where you like see shapes or like...
I fuck with shapes very heavily. I'm a shape guy, man.
Like, no. I think that's like a thing. I think Kanye has that. Like when you hear music, you kind of see shapes in your mind.
Oh, so. Yeah. I can, but like I feel like it just makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you see a nice angle and you're like, damn, that's really perfect. Like I feel like I want my music to translate in that.
You gotta serenade like the Empire State Building.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up there.
Your man's looking at angles on buildings, not angles on girls.
I'm like, damn. I was looking at stuff.
Yo, so kind of digging a little deeper into your music, like don't take this the wrong way, I guess I'm kind of putting it in a box, but like when I gave you a first listen, it seemed like very dark and like melodic. Is that like on purpose, or is that like within you and that just like comes out of you, or is that by choice? Or
I'd say it's not really by choice. It's just very, very instinctual. You know what I mean? Like the way I create melodies and stuff. It's not like I'm thinking about like, yo, this is like in C major and it's got to be like this. Like I understand some music theory because, like I said, I played instruments growing up. But it's kind of like everything that just comes is supernatural. I hear something and I just start like humming kind of instinctually. You know what I'm saying? Feeling the beat, feeling the vibe. That's kind of how I put it together. Maybe I listened to a lot of it growing up. It's quite possible. I listened to a lot of like different sort of like electronic sort of music that did have a lot of dark tones, a lot of really interesting, cool sounds. And like we were talking about, like the idea of like dark nights, driving at night, I love that shit. You know what I mean? That's the time I find myself to find the most like peace. So I feel like that's, again, like some ways I try to replicate my music would be like a car ride at night or like a nice building, you know?
So is it like more of a like a cathartic release for you? Like when you like...
I guess so. It makes me, it does make me feel good, but I think it's more like, damn, like I really love the way this kind of puts together. And I feel like it's a genre not a lot of people can really get into.
Yeah, no. The reason like why I asked that is like, it's just like when they like kind of talk about it, it's like, I guess it's probably an extension of your life too, and a little bit too, like maybe like some pitfalls you probably had along the way, then you kind of like use it as a cathartic release. So when you're like talking about or like creating craft, like those like little elements seep into it. So that's why I was just like kind of curious if it was just like, you know, an extension of you, like your life, or if that's just like the style of music that you fuck with heavy, and then that's just like what you try to emulate a little bit. So,
but I feel like it definitely has to do with, I've seen a lot of dark shit in my life, witnessed a lot of things. So I feel like that also kind of does translate there as well. I think it's a little bit deeper than that. It could be, it's very, very, it could be like subconscious that it's coming out in that way. You know what I mean?
So we kind of had this like kind of conversations early on, like when we are just like starting the podcast. Like one issue that we had was like, are we ever going to run out of things to like kind of talk about, or like, are we going to run out of substance? Because you can only like, I guess it just seemed like there's only a finite amount of things like we can say. Is that ever like a concern for you? Like when you're creating music, is that like, I don't want to recycle shit. Like I don't want to say the same things over again. As a creator, does that ever like cross your mind, or is that like,
okay, how do I explain this? It's kind of like I don't think I would ever run out of things, because I feel like I learn something new every day. You always have something to say. There's always something to talk about. This world is changing every day. Everything changes every second. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like never lose hope in that, because you can find conversation in really anything.
Well, going off of that, so I know you do design as well, and like you're in school for design. How do you navigate artist block? Is that the same kind of endless like ideas and stuff, or I mean?
Actually, a really great way to end artist block is literally just trying something new, a new media of art, a new form of it. I swear to God, like having that other way to think, almost like, you know, when I'm thinking like a designer, it's a little bit different from music design or music in general. So it's kind of like there's ways to solve problems in the design world that kind of inspire me to solve a problem musically. That's happened a lot of fucking times. So I would say just like shuffle your energy, try something new, you know what I'm saying? Move that over in a different light to help you get out of your loop in any other way. You know what I mean? Like when I'm doing design, I find myself a lot more calm than when I'm making music, because there's like a sort of rules and principles to it, you know what I mean? As opposed to just having nothing and just making something out of it. I mean, that's a sort of similar concept, but again, it's the concept of like, you know, we find similarities in everything.
Gotcha. Yo, so on the business side of things on music, like, are you like independent, or are you like signed to a label, or do you have your like own label, or?
I am independent technically. We have an entertainment company or entertainment industry sort of a thing that we're working on, but I don't really know what the situation is. I mean, as I'm growing older, I need fucking money, obviously, you know what I mean? So would I ever sign? It's possible. Would I ever like partner with a label? You know, like I think PG Lang is a thing of Columbia or something, you know what I'm saying? Or like, you know, there's Interscope Records, and there's like, you know, they partner with different smaller labels like YSL or whatever, like, you know what I mean? So maybe I would do something like that, like a partnership sort of a thing. But other than that, I don't know. I think that's kind of wherever music would take me, or wherever I would, you know what I'm saying? Like I if I ever got an opportunity, I don't know, who knows? Maybe I would take it. I don't really fucking know.
Would you sell your soul?
Hell fucking no, man.
Company throws $5 million at you and tells you like change.
Nah, bro, because I know how it all works. It's just they're just loaning you $5 million that you have to pay back, bro. It's never gonna work out, man.
I feel like you're doing it good though, because I feel like you're going in with something like you have your worth right now. Like you put out projects already, you know, like for record labels, you know, you can create music. It's not, you know, just nobody that they're trying to take a risk on. You already did like the preliminary work, so like anything that comes at you now, you know, is gonna be. I think that is the way to go for like most like musical creators nowadays. I feel like you should start off independent, make a name for yourself, and then like when the big bag comes in, you have more of a leverage to say, you know, nah, I want X amount of whatever, like instead of like this amount that you're offering.
So what's Hills West? Like how did that like start out and come about to like what was the idea behind it?
So Hills West is not my technical idea. Like I didn't come up with the idea, the name, nothing. Like it originated. So this is actually a great story. 2 years ago, probably 2019, I want to say. If anything, it might have even been 2018. I was on like Instagram and I was just going through, and I tend to do this quite often because again, I'm someone who like, if I see hard work, like I really appreciate it. That shit inspires me. So like I'll reach out to people. I don't know if people get the wrong fucking vibe from me or whatever, but I just reach out to people and I'll be like, yo bro, like I really like this work. Like great job. Keep it up. You know what I'm saying? I'll just say some shit like that because I like genuinely fucking mean it. Like if I see some dope shit. So one of my homies, very close friend of mine, Yassine, he's been a part of my projects, a lot of album covers, like, you know, beats, different things. We actually have a joint album coming out next Friday. So it's his brand that he originally started, and it originally was like a cut and sew kind of a thing. And I just kind of reached out to him. I was like, yo, bro, I really fuck with what you're doing. Keep it up. That was when I was, you know, I was trying to get into like clothing, sort of just understanding it a little bit more, you know, designs in general. So I thought he would have been like a great person to like, you know, maybe ask a lot of questions about it, just kind of like, you know, see if I can kind of hit up And I didn't really speak to him until like end of 2019, 2020, when we both went through like a breakup, actually, coincidentally, around the same time. So he had a lot to talk about, which is fucking great. But yeah, like, you know, we started to talk about it more, and, you know, he's kind of started to create an identity for it. And we both kind of were like, I mean, from there, the rest is kind of history, you know, it took off. We did our first collection together and shit, and it came out really fucking nice.
So is it like your clothing brand, or is it both of your clothing brands, or like?
I mean, I would say it's his. He's definitely founder, president, whatever. Yeah. I mean, I would hope to think I'm maybe VP, if anything, CEO, definitely. Like, I help out on a lot of different ends. You know, he'll come to me. I'm like his right hand man. You know, put it like that. Obviously, help out with every photo shoot. I'm there. You know, sometimes I have to model, but I don't like being.
The buildings ain't the only ones that hit the angles.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm like, I like taking photos of people. You know what I'm saying? So
let us know if you need any models.
Jeez.
Yo, KB's like 6'6".
6'5".
Bro.
Do you come up with the designs, or like do you have a team?
It's all. I mean, a lot of it's Yassine. Sometimes think a lot together, bro. Like there's no other way to say it. Like originally, I thought you could do everything, and I have a lot of skills, jack of all trades, so to speak, which I always think is better. I've always thought of it, and I've always felt in my heart that's the way to go. Like you should know a little bit about everything in any industry you're in. That way, you can kind of put all the puzzle pieces together, and you can kind of maybe even start your own thing. You know what I mean? When you have enough resources and enough conceptual, like if you grasp the concept very well and shit.
Do you sketch a lot, or are you someone who just
love drawing? That's something that I kind of wasn't. I'm not a very, very good drawer, sketcher. You know what I'm saying? I've taken a lot of classes and I've practiced a lot recently, especially because I am in design school. But I feel like in this day and age, you know, there's two different kinds of, like, there are people who can sketch that your product will probably come out a lot nicer than mine, particularly because it's like, you know, I've got to work hard, but it's not like you need to nowadays. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of ways to get around different things, which is kind of really cool nowadays.
So how big's your team?
Oh,
Hills West.
Thank you. Actually, that totally reminded me. So originally, you know, I thought that I could do everything fucking by myself, but I realized having a team is so fucking important, bro. So important. My team at the moment, we're technically 4 strong. Like we have people who we kind of associate with, and we have like an idea that we want to just work with a lot of creatives around. So we collaborate with different other people and stuff. But it's me, Hossain, who does film and all video kind of stuff for us. He's like all the video content you see. He has this production studio, World Domination Studios. We're kind of like a production team. You know, me and Yassine work for that too. So it's like that's his thing, but we're helping him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then we got Hills West, where like everyone's kind of together. And then we have Yassine. So it's like me, Hossain, Yassine, and Marcus. And Marcus is a lot of like stuff, kind of the behind the scenes editorial things. You know, he's helping write all the like proper grammar, punctuation, making sure the shit makes sense, you know, all that good stuff.
Are you guys all the same background? Like how did you guys all like come together and meet?
So Marcus and Yassine are very close friends. They've known each other for a very long time. Me, Hossain, and then Yassine kind of met in separate timelines. Yeah. So similarly how I reached out to Yassine over Instagram and was just like, yo, bro, great fucking shit. That's how I found Hossain too. And I was like, yo, bro, great fucking shit. Like, I love your fucking videos. It's fucking dope, bro. Cool shit. And like, you know, over time, we just kind of like, we're being very friendly. And one day we just kind of were like, yo, bro, let's do some shit. Like, I shit you not. Like, me and Yassine made this album in probably like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Mind you, we never met in person, bro. Like for the first 2 years because COVID. So like, I didn't physically see him until like August 2020 maybe or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was crazy. So we made an entire album.
You're talking about Sun Showers, right?
No, this is a new album that's coming out next week, actually, which you guys will love. I'll send it to you guys, honestly. I'll send it to
No, that's dope.
Change early access.
We out here. We making it big, baby.
That's what you get, man. Shit comes with perks.
Yo, so this guy, Hossain, does he do your music videos too? Because I think we saw World Domination.
Yes. So WD, that really nice logo, beautiful looking. He did my last like 2 ones, maybe even 3. And then obviously like he has such good content. If you're not familiar with him, I would highly recommend checking that shit out. Because to be honest, like he's fucking crazy. He's done shit for like Puma. He's done really cool, very fucking cool thing. A lot of upcoming artists. That's kind of his thing right now. There's Riot. I don't know the rest of her particular name, but she's a great artist too. He's done videos for her. Gerba, great artists. Oh, shit.
So do you specifically like working with Brown creatives, trying to like,
so
in different disciplines?
Honestly, that was something that just coincidentally seemed to happen. It's not like my manager is not brown, you know what I mean? And like I technically am a part of this collective or an entertainment thing I was mentioning earlier. It's called Starfruit. And we're just a bunch of artists that we kind of situate together. So it's easier for all of us to kind of communicate. You know, we kind of built our own big ass community. We had our first like camp session where like we all got together and kind of were just like going at it. We made a bunch of tracks and shit. Very good progress. So there's a lot of hope there. But yeah, like that just totally is coincidental. And I mean, the fact that we're all brown though, that made it even kind of more powerful in my mind. Like oddly enough, like it just so happened that we had to, like Yasin's Bengali too. So that was crazy to me because I had no idea, bro. And I was like, holy shit, bro. Like we literally speak the same fucking language and shit, you know what I mean? So it's like before we started really getting close with the work and like getting very, 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 like our chemistry was improving a lot and stuff, you know, we were starting to connect mad easily. Like before all of that, like we were just really good friends. Yeah. And like that's kind of how it really started because like, you know, I've personally never had brown friends. They're like my first ever brown friends ever. And they just so happened to be like the people that I would need in my life to like really do this shit. And it was like, it just ended up working out so fucking nicely, bro. It's crazy.
Even if you like met them by accidentally, whatever, it's just having that connection with someone like
absolutely
relating to the same culture as you is
yeah, I mean, like, yo, literally, like, you know, I speak Urdu and, like, I understand 100% Urdu, Hindi, too, even. Like, they're sort of similar, so there's not too much of a difference. But, like, I understand and I can speak it and Bangla, too. So it's, like, you know, we all literally can communicate, like, Yasina as well. Like, obviously, you know, like we're Bengali, but we grow up with Bollywood, too. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we understand a lot of other shit, not just our culture. So yeah, that was such a very, very fucking cool thing. And like, it's like family shit, you know what I mean? So it feels really nice. Like that's something that I feel like I've never had before. So
would you ever throw like Urdu into like a track? Like, or are you not trying to like,
you know, I've said shit like, you know, like I'll say things that people would be familiar with. I don't know if I would ever say something that you gotta like Google. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, like I'm making this person work for this shit. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of crazy. Like I would say something like, you know, I think please. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking walk outside and Unik comes gonna punch me in the face, bro. I swear to God. I'm gonna be walking around the city like, hey, I heard you talking shit, man. You're like, oh shit, bro.
Have you met him? Like the guy that you guys
I've been to a show. I've been to one of his shows. It was great atmosphere, you know, literally everyone was brown. It was cool to see that. You know what I mean? But again, it's kind of like I remember the fucking word, guys. It's called exploitation, bro. That's what I fucking wanted to say earlier. Like, you know, I would never exploit my culture. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we eat it with our hands and stuff, but I'm not about to, like, post a video of me eating with my hands. Like, teach all these people, like, yo, I eat with my hands. I'm some sort of, like, zoo animal or some shit. Like, bro, like, it's not that deep.
So going back to like the music videos that your one friend created or helped create, I watched the Overdose one. I think that's like one of your bigger songs.
Right. So that one actually is different. So that was my first big song, great video. I spent a very large budget on that. And actually that was shot by a crazy fucking, I want to say filmmaker too. Yeah. Like he's insane. His name's Henry DeCoste and he's done like Gov Ball shows or like he's done like Action Bronson shows. Like he's really out there. Right? You know, obviously like we're young, so we can't get those opportunities yet.
Yeah.
But he actually also went to high school with me, which was crazy. And I just so happened to know him and a fellow friend of mine, Grace Sang, who did a lot of like directing and stuff too. So they kind of helped put that video together where like I literally rented out a car garage, bought a junk car. We actually like flooded the car out.
Oh shit. Yeah.
It was sick, bro. Like, yeah, we got to, and then we scrapped it obviously. So very, very cool stuff.
So how much input do you have like in the creative process for like a music video?
For the recent stuff, it's like 100% more or less. And by that, I just mean like low key, like because me and Alexander are so close, you know, we can pull up to any spot and like we have that chemistry or synergy where it's like here, like I'd be like, yo, bro, you want to shoot something real quick? You know what I mean? And like we kind of create it on the fly even sometimes. But I mean, I would say definitely the more videos I'm making, the more creative direction I'm trying to kind of like take responsible for. You know what I mean? Like I dropped a video recently under the name, so I'm just gonna say this right now, it's like Juice Boys. You guys will hear Juice Boys a lot. That's me and Yasin as a group together. Like we kind of dropping music under a different name and we're calling it Juice Boys.
Got the juice, huh?
Yeah, like mango juice, literally. Like it's like some joke shit. It's hilarious. Yeah, like for real. So
you watch a lot of movies and stuff. Like, is that how you like get into like,
music? You find inspiration. I mean, for particularly like music videos and stuff. I just try to think of trippy shit on. Like Avzan definitely definitely, I would say, watches a lot of movies and stuff, but he kind of creates ridiculous shit, man. Like, I don't know. He just thinks of like, he'd be like, yo, bro, I got a great idea. Next thing you know, he's like fucking making me look into a telescope and then like changes up the fucking frame to look like the telescope. I don't know if you've seen the Love Me or You Don't video. Fire shit if you haven't. That one's probably my favorite one. I mean, design is something that I feel like I said before, it's kind of like you can never know too much. And I don't like when people kind of spread themselves thin. It's not even a whole nother world. Design is very, very relevant to anything you do in any other aspect. People just think like creativity is like, you got to know how to draw or like color or like understand fashion or something. Like, no, like you can creatively like solve a math equation. You know what I mean? That's a literal thing. Yeah. Creativity comes in a lot of different aspects.
So do you think it's necessary to go to a design school?
Hell fucking no. I don't think school is meant for any, like school doesn't fucking matter. The reason why maybe particularly, like I told myself I applied to school because I was like, yo, if I get in, I know I'm good at this. Like SVA particularly is I would say a higher kind of you know what I mean?
Well-known design for like digital art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of was like, yo, if I can't get into somewhere that's like the best, then like, is it really worth me trying to get into it really, really that much? Like, you know, because I have a freak obsession of trying to be someone who is the best.
Dude, that's crazy, man. I had the same mindset like when I was like in school, and I think for me it was more so validating to my family that it was like legit. The craft was legit. When you put a good like big name school next to the craft that says, okay, this kid is good, then the people and parents are just like, oh, okay, maybe it's something. So similarly, do you show your parents when you get like a couple thousand views on a song or something?
Sunshower got almost like 75 or like 80K total views on the entire album, which was like, I've never seen numbers like that. Like, I think I barely have over 100K total on SoundCloud for the last like 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean? So it is validating for me, but to be quite honest with you, I don't really share too much. It's not that they don't know what I'm doing, because obviously they support it just because like I feel like they're obligated or like they're old, and maybe they now from their heart they definitely genuinely support, obviously, but I feel like they really don't understand it.
We did see like your dad like models for you. Like, how did you get him to do that?
Oh, so that's actually that particularly wasn't my dad. That was Yasin's dad. His dad is very, very different from, like, it's not like my parents wouldn't help support or blah 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 blah. It's just that, like, to be honest, like that was something else that was a leap of faith. It's like, you know, I was getting to an industry not only is already super duper fucking exclusive, it's like I don't know a single fucking person. I probably would never have known my entire life, you know, anyone from my family or like close circle or whatever that would have done this, you know, other than maybe like a friend. Like, obviously, like, you know, all my family, they're all like science related or some shit, you know what I'm saying? So
you mentioned your brother who's like 30, right? Does he also do creative stuff? Or?
He was, you know, he holds that like older child in a Brown household responsibility of like maybe like, you know, taking care of the parents, blah, blah, blah. It's not like obviously like they're telling him to, it's more like insinuated, you feel me? Like it's kind of like that concept of like, you know, if you're the oldest, you sort of have to take care of your parents. So in that case, he kind of definitely had it harder in like a different situation. Like he's 6 years older than me, you know what I mean? So like, I feel like that's a large gap. A lot can happen in 6 years.
Yeah.
You know, in the 6 years that my parents had me. So it's kind of like he went through a different kind of shit than like I went through. Like obviously I got my ass kicked, but like my brother got his ass kicked. You know what I mean? Like different. And I just got my ass kicked. It's completely, you know what I mean? Like I just got my ass kicked. So like in that case, he had a completely different obligation and different lifestyle, different choices, entire fucking whatever. He went to Bangladesh and he did 5 years of medical school, came back here with an MBBS and was like, I don't know why I did that. I don't want to do this. Literally now he's currently, you know, in his master's getting public health and nutrition.
Do you have like a plan B or like some, if music doesn't work out or anything? Like, you know how you said your dad didn't become a doctor till 45.
There's no fucking plan B. Literally no plan B. Other than, I mean, technically design would kind of be like a plan B, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I am trying to like go like through school, and I don't, again, it's like having the degree would just help me get into a situation where I could work up the ladder and gain recognition through that. You know what I mean? Like, I think of different ways to hustle, because that's a hustle in itself.
Where do you see yourself in like 5 years?
I feel like I have to take every day a day at a time, because to be honest, I do have anxiety and shit, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, I try to just live in the day, because once I start thinking about tomorrow and shit, like things start getting a little fucking crazy, you know what I mean? Or a few months ahead, like I can plan as much as, you can plan as much as you want to, and you can have expectations, but to be honest, honest with you, life is fucking crazy. Because I feel like, yeah, like, you know, in 5 years, I can totally tell you that, like, yeah, like I want to be like a musician that's kind of well known or like, at least has an audience, and like I want to be financially stable, of course. Like I try to think of realistic goals, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to fucking rule the world in 5 years, bro, or like, yeah, I want like a Phantom by next year, bro. Like that's not gonna happen. I mean, it could happen, I don't fucking know, but to be honest with you, like,
yeah, we got you. We got you here.
Yeah, we out there.
So, yeah, are you never like scared? Do you have fear? Like, how do you like soak that in? Like,
scared, man.
You have
I literally have a tattoo right here that says "No fear," and I read a quote. I'm sure you guys have heard this. I know it's a pretty common quote, and it's the quote about being courageous or being brave. I think it's courage. It's like courage isn't the absence of fear. It's like being scared and still fucking doing it. You know what I mean? And that's all what courage really is. So, Of course, I'm fucking scared, bro. Of course, everyone's fucking scared. Everyone's anxious. We're all in it together, though, in that certain sense of like nobody really knows what the fuck they're doing. I even thought about this shit. My parents are like 60-something years old. Even they don't know what they're doing. They're just big ass kids. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you start really realizing that.
Dude, I think it's good that you have a team around you, though, because I feel like it would be a huge burden on your shoulders if you had to like kind of do this all on your own.
Bro,
and if you have a team,
guys have no idea.
Yeah, like if you have a team, you ride together, and then that way you can kind of like spread like the anxiety between like 4 people rather than just yourself. You guys have someone to talk to about this shit, like, you know, like
absolutely. Absolutely. So, honestly, like if I didn't have my teammates, I don't even know if I would have put out a lot of music. That's literally how it is. Like I'm so like I make something and I'll listen to it a week and I'm just like, I hate this. It's literally like my videographer will just like Hossain will literally be like, yo, bro, this song is sick. Let's shoot the video for this. You know, and I'm like, okay, bro, let's do this. Cause like I'm trying to create something that's gonna be something that I'm even proud of, and it's hard to even do that sometimes. You know what I mean? Like Sun Shower, I would say is a great album, and that's a very mature thing.
Yeah.
This last project I dropped is called Layover in Dubai. It was more like a mixtape sort of a thing. It's just like some fun ass music. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. You know, I make every now and then. I have a lot of fucking tracks, bro. I got like hundreds of songs. None of them are released because every time I sometimes listen to them, like they just make me feel like they're not. I'm like, do I like them?
So the album that you created in 2 weeks last year, that's like coming out in a few weeks, like
Juice Pack.
Juice Pack, yeah. So for Juice Pack, in the past year, were you just like kind of tweaking it a little bit, or is that like something you were just like you need to like sit with it for a year to be like, you know, this is an actual project, not like something that you might like, you know? Why did you like hold off on it for so long?
I'm gonna be completely fucking honest with you. The only reason why I couldn't drop it is because like I literally didn't know how to, and by that I mean like the project is honestly some of, I think, my best personal work. Like it's just a very fucking sick album. It's fun. It's a fun album. So it's only music for like, you know, going out or whatever the fuck. Like it's kind of that album, you know what I mean? It's not meant to like make you fucking think or have an existential crisis or some shit. The easiest way to explain this is like as an independent artist, there's so much more that I personally have to worry about, whether it be coming from A&R or how to actually literally like market it. Like, you know what I mean? Like how do I literally drop this to show people, to get people on board to this, to that, to this, to that. And to be honest, like I couldn't really think of anything particular. I have a lot of connections. I should be sending it to the A&R people that I know, or just like sending it to the labels that I know, or whoever, just people, because there are a lot of people that their eyes are on Starfruit, their eyes are on us as a group. Me too, hopefully. I mean, I hope. But in those cases, it's kind of like, you know, I do all my own promotion, my own advertising, every fucking thing, bro. Like as an in-house team, not only do we work on like every poster design, every advertisement video you see on Hills West, you know, that's all in-house. We all make that ourselves. It's not like someone else is doing that shit. Or from our music video aspect or cover art, or, you know, I'm making the beat, fucking recording my own shit, then mixing and mastering every layer, every bit, every inch of it. You know what I mean? It's like I get so focused in on the actual craft, it burns me out to have to think about like now I gotta fucking spend the time to market all of this shit, right? And which is a different world in itself. And I mean, that's kind of also why I went to school, because SVA has a great advertisement and marketing program that's a part of the design team. And I just finally decided, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna drop it because it's just such good fucking music. People just need to hear it, and then I'll just slowly start sending it to people because I know it's just fucking crazy. No. Like this shit is just different. Like there's no way for me to explain it to you. That's something that you've never heard before. You might listen to it one time through and be like, what the fuck did I just listen to? And have to listen to it a few more times. But I'm telling you, I would say like genre breaking, like very, very, very intuitive, super clean, super fun. Like it's just a fucking vibe. Great album, bro.
I'm excited.
It's taken me a lot for me to even say that because I'm not someone who fucking talks kindly of my own work, which is a very bad habit. But this project, I would say it's taken me about a year to really understand that it's a fucking gold mine.
Yeah, and going back to your tattoos, how many tattoos do you have? And like, what would you say is your favorite piece?
I have 14 tattoos.
Damn.
By the way, my parents do know about my tattoos, right? So that was something that took some time to get. It's been about 5 or 6 years since I got my tattoo. So like, I wore long sleeves up until probably like last year, maybe the year before that. They've seen them, they kind of speculated, and I just, out of respect, was like, I don't want them to see it. But finally, I went on a family vacation. I was like, it's 90 fucking degrees, bro. I'm wearing a t-shirt. This shit is not gonna slide. But yeah, I would say my favorite piece is I've got this. I have a lot of favorite pieces, man. I'm not gonna lie. I have a favorite.
What are the eyes on your left chest?
So it's 2 eyes. Yo, bro.
Why you asking like that? Yo.
Holy shit, bro. You in my room, bro? What the
he was looking at your modeling career.
Yeah, right? He's like, oh shit. He's like,
yo, take your shirt off right now.
Yo, hey, man, you guys can see it. No one else can. So I have this butterfly, particularly. One's left, one's right chest, by the same artist. Her name is So Yoon from Daredevil Tattoo. Very famous. Actually, I think literally the first tattoo shop ever opened in New York City. And it's got like a historical aspect behind it. It's like the oldest tattoo parlor. Very cool. She works for them. So the butterfly is actually personal art that she makes. She literally has a book of butterflies. It's insane. She loves butterflies. So like, I picked a very nice one and I was like, yo, fuck it up. Do your shit. This eye one though, it's 2 eyeballs in a box and it says Lover Boy at the top, and there's
Damn, he's the first Lover Boy before Sarah.
Yeah, right. Fuck Drake, bro. I'm a real Lover Boy. That one's a little bit more personal. And I actually have like a Leonardo da Vinci. Sorry, not Leonardo, Mona Lisa tattoo. It's not fucking Leonardo da Vinci on my body. It's Mona Lisa who's on my body, and her eyes are faded out, and it's kind of like the eyes on my chest are like the eyes that are faded out from her.
Oh shit.
But, I go to different countries and I'll get tattoos. That's kind of like something I do. So
that's dope. You consider yourself a lover boy? Like, what's your
Yeah, I mean, listen, like I come from a matriarchal household, right? So I was raised only by women, and like very, very out of the ordinary for a Southeast Asian household. You know what I mean? I come from a family of badass women. The reason why Lover Boy exists is I would consider myself more empathetic than maybe usual. You know what I'm saying? So like maybe you'll break up with someone, but you feel bad because you're not like, you know what I mean? You're letting go of someone in general. So like the concept of everything is reciprocal, right? There's 2 ways to every kind of thing. I would say Lover Boy kind of comes from the concept of understanding that like there's just so much sad things, I guess, that like, like I think about this quite often, like sentimental value towards my parents. Like, once they're gone, it's like, that's fucking sad shit. I know that's a really random and deep topic, but I feel like there's a very interesting stigma on like parents in Southeast Asian culture. So
is there a lover girl in your life?
There is no fucking lover girl in my life. Like, I felt like I knew that question was coming. Like, set me up, bro.
Nah. Would you say it's fair to say, like, when I was listening to Sun Showers, like your earlier music, it seemed like, and you kind of briefly mentioned this earlier in the conversation, like you went through, like, you and Yasim, or like you guys went through a heartbreak. Do you think that's like why, like, you have like this dark tone in like the earlier music, whereas now in the Juice Boys, where it's like a lot of turn up shit, is because like you kind of like, phased out of that a little bit? Or is
he's basically trying to ask if someone broke your heart?
No, I mean,
yeah, in a way.
Okay,
yeah.
so essentially, I would say,
who hurt you?
My heart still belongs to, right? Who hurt me? Fucking, I'm not gonna say, man. People know too many things out here. I can't even say names anymore. No, I would say heartbreak aside, there's just been a lot of shit that's happened in my life. Like, I'll give something very, very personal, and this was when I was like 8 or 7 years old. Like, my mom had a seizure, and we found out she had a brain tumor. You know what I mean? I was like 7 years old. Imagine having to like call 911 to be like, yo, my mom is spazzing out and shit. Like, you know what I mean? I'm obviously joking about it right now, but it's a very, very serious thing, and that like woke me up very early. So I felt like I've always had a very, very dark outlook on life, because there's been a lot of fucked up shit. I've seen suicides when I was like 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like crazy shit, like serious shit. So I feel like the darkness is always there, and it's something that kind of helps me cope with it when I make the dark music. I'm able to kind of lightly let it out instead of being angry about it. I make more like you're driving at night and you're just like letting shit go, so you don't really know how to feel kind of music. You know what I'm saying? It's never angry or like I'm crying about some shit. It's just real. It's like trying to pass it. You know what I mean? Pass the time. There's a
like meditation for you.
Yeah, exactly. It's a form of release. I mean, that's what music is. It's my personal form of release. That's why it's about personal experience. Like my mixtape, the one I dropped on SoundCloud, the one with Overdose in it, it's called Intro. It's actually called Intro because it's actually short for introspective. It doesn't mean like intro as an intro to me. So the first track is actually really deep because it talks a lot about the way I think. Kind of like how there's no real good or bad. It's kind of like things are just things. You know, there's two sides to a story. Obviously, there's a clear right and wrong to something. Like if someone kills someone, that's obviously bad, right? But I mean, like, you know, in any instant, there's always kind of that balance. The darkness comes from a dark place, and I feel like this lightness is something I'm trying to try differently. I have some other really fun songs, you know, I've made it, but I feel like I'm really bad at making fun and happy music. So I've been trying to practice it a lot more, you know what I mean? I end up making things, you know, I've listened to a lot of like rock and roll, heavy metal too. I would say there's sort of a dark tone in them as well.
It's also like, you don't really think about your thoughts when you're happy. You think about your thoughts mainly when you're sad or you're mad or something. Like, so it makes sense, like why, you know, some people only relate to some type of music. But
who's the girl in the Overdose music video?
You motherfucker. That actually was an ex of mine, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we also saw that you had a Dunkin' Donuts coffee in the Overdose.
Team Dunkin' or Team Starbucks?
Yeah.
Nah, bro. That actually wasn't even ours. It was like we bought the car and just like didn't
the coffee came with it.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, oh, sick, bro.
Wait, how much did you get that car for? So you say you got the car just for the music video and dumped it?
Yeah, literally just fuck it up. I bought the car.
Damn. What's your budget look like for these videos?
I don't pay. Nowadays, it's complete in-house. The first one, that one particularly, was kind of expensive. It's like almost like $2,000-ish around there.
That's sick.
So that's basically the podcast. Do you want to plug anything?
Plug yourself.
Yeah, plug anything, any upcoming projects, any social media or any, you know, clothing or whatever.
Shit. Facts. Hey guys, my name is Onik. My IG is ONIK3, and another IG. Check out my store, my clothes and stuff. It's Hills West NY. I also have a single coming out Friday, September 17th, and I got an album coming out September 24th. And yeah, check me out. It's ONIK on all streaming platforms. Other than that, I think I'm pretty good. Honestly, you'll probably guys hear about me eventually soon enough, somewhere from a credible source, hopefully. And that's that, man. That's that.
Thanks for tuning in. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify at Brown Boy Chronicles. Feel free to email us with any questions or topics you would like us to discuss in future episodes. The email is brownboychronicles1@gmail.com. All right, see you next time.